So here we are with episode 3 of the Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. Last episode was pretty nice, gave us a good amount of lore, and it also gave me a character that I really just want to just bury them straight into the Earth's core, so I guess that's also nice. And we'll just have to see how Komari is going to deal with her bully, literally coming back to just bully her. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access to non-seasonal and some seasonal shows on the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. Oh, just an aristocrat, huh? Oh, it's gonna be a pleasant little chat, that's for sure. She knows she's putting up a... Yeah, she's putting up an act. She knows she's putting up an act. Not killing each other for the sake. Is this the ideals of the inverse moon, or... So it's a fucking phony? After all you've done. Well, you know, she was just kind of pushed into this. Man, y'all being really loud in this area. Blue Knight. Return what you've lent me 3 years ago. Okay, so it's that incident from 3 years ago at the Imperial Academy? I can't say. Now I'm just over like, I've bullied you, but how dare you do something to me, the bully? Ooh, why I oughta. Oh, shit! Oh man, the spaghetti! Damn, you really just fucking tossed her. He'll be fine. These people, dude. These two who are just in the... No, that's the whole point, right? Ayo, the queen is just chilling, dude. Mm-hmm. Yes, and now you're covered in spaghetti sauce. Oh. So bold, I'm captivated. You usually go by the royal we, isn't it? Artemon. Artemon, is that her dad? When you're more serious about this. You have an alternative personality. Oh. I got the scared of the fucking shit out of you. What's by my destiny? Ah! So they want true death. Understandable. I was thinking about that. Okay. Well, your sin is being weak, ain't it? Oh, we still haven't seen, like... Hey, yo, when your bully's determined. A ritual article. Oh! So I guess he won't be fine out. I wonder who is that spy, huh? In... She's high. That's how that's the... Ugh. They were so... Maybe that's why... Yeah, maybe that's why she's fucking upset at you. Oh, she's touching something personal. Yeah, how dare you hurt this girl who's been bullying you? Why, Ayada? You snapped? Okay. Back to just staying in bed. Oh my god. Alright, that would be very, that would be very... Well, just giving her a love letter. Just like this man who's coming straight to you. Oh my god. She's got fucking... Damn. Damn, dude. She's really coming back to just... Oh man, not on my omelet. Damn, dude, she's really out here being a menace. Oh, okay, she'll be fine. Hey yo, that really looked like ketchup sauce on the omelet now. Amu rice. Ah! Oh. Well, okay. She's sort of like, I'm just gonna murder everybody around you. Of course. I'll also kill her. Oh my god! When is Castell coming? He's taking his time. Immediately back in... Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna stay in my bed. Oh, she's helped you all this time. So, time to return the favor. This is the perfect time to read her letter, right? Oh. The letter's coming to you. Damn, she's out here being poetic. You know, these flowery language, huh? Of course. Oh. You too were bullied? God, dude, Millicent's really out here bullying everybody. Oh my god, not only is she a bully, she's a fucking psychopath. Ah, the weird sense of justice that Millicent doesn't like. If you're gonna do anything, bully me instead. Couldn't help. So, like, did the bullying came on over to her? So she said when she did the crime, I assume that's what she means. We're like only in episode 3. Wow, you can't stay in your room now, huh, Komari? Oh, you blacked out for a lot of stuff. Understandable. Man's still recovering it. Yeah. You all. Why don't you accompany her separately? She's bait! Come on now, my guy. What a dummy. It's useful in war and stuff? Is that what he's supposed to say? Yohanne be like, wait a minute. When I said kill, I just mean like in a friendly bout, you know? I didn't actually expect to kill her. Alright. I thought that was a pretty good episode too, but as I said, wow, this is episode 3. If this is where we are in episode 3, like, where the fuck are we going? By the end of this series, like, where are we going? And I know that there was someone in the comments who made notes that they're basically going through the light novel pretty fast. Oh, this is preview stuff, so I'm going to go write my notes and we will be right back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 3 of the Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty good episode. I really enjoy that we are just diving more into Komari's past and like what happened to this in this incident at the what is it, the academy, the Imperial Academy that happened 3 years ago and such. And here we are with Millicent Blue Knight, who is off her rockers, that's for sure. Let me know what you guys think about her. Because what I feel about her might be very different from what people feel about her. They definitely want you to be like, man, I hate this girl. She's awful. She's out here just bullying people left and right. Now that she's graduated from the academy, she's coming back here to just bully Komari. Look, dude, that dedication. The absolute fucking dedication. And since we're speaking about Millicent, let's talk about her. So, in the first part where she goes and she talks with Komari, and Komari is putting up that air that she's been doing, right? This is how she's basically surviving in this new world that she's been forced into, and Millicent is just having a fucking laugh because she knows exactly who Komari is, so she's just over like, yeah, you're fucking lying. You're fucking lying your pants off, alright? It is on fire. I know you're not wearing pants right now, but it is, if you were, it would be on fire. So, you know, she's out here just toying with Komari and such. There is this part where she goes and she says, not killing each other for the sake of killing your enemy, but killing each other to display the might of your own country. I can't think of that as anything but an insult to war. And then Komari is just like, well, that's definitely another way to think about it. And it kind of makes me think, because, like, well, the one thing that, as we see more of Millicent in the past, is that she's very much, you know, she's definitely got a few loose screws out here. The way that she thinks about it really just feels like one would think for like a fucking serial killer or something, right? Like you're killing someone. Albeit, I mean, with the way that Millicent thinks too, right? She gets the joy of bringing pain to others, and, you know, that's one way a serial killer would find, right? They find pleasure in doing what they do. And so I do find it very fun that this is the way that she sees it. And it's kind of like, well, the idea of war is to display the might of your country. At the same time, I can understand, which kind of goes back to like the first episode as we started learning about the Dark Cores and how it has a very strong revival magic. And, you know, they're inside this giant battlefield where all the Dark Core aligns with one another. So it's just like instant revival. Komari has the thought of, this is the entertainment war. It sucks. And I do find that very fun that in its own way, right, Millicent and Komari, when they think about that, they are two sides of the same coin, just because they both are very much in disagreement with the Dark Core in their own separate ways, alright? But like in terms of like a generalized sense, they are very much in a disagreement of the Dark Core in the way that it just revives people. Okay, I went off on a tangent. What was I talking about? The whole not killing each other for the sake of killing your enemy. It's an insult to war. When I really think about war, right? War, it really isn't specifically the idea of killing your enemy. It's more of the idea of dominating your enemy, right? Taking territory and stealing resources. That's one of the biggest reasons why we go to war, and also in terms of, I was gonna say morals, but just in terms of like if they attack you first and then you go to war, or you know, but usually it's because of border issues and like resources issues and just, you know, greed and wanting more and such. So it's not really the idea of killing each other for the sake of killing in a war. Because if that was the case, well, I mean, I guess Millicent wouldn't also enjoy, wouldn't enjoy our ideals of war as well, right? Because we've got like the Geneva Code or the Geneva Convention and all that, where you can't exactly go out and just fucking kill civilians. Albeit, you know, the whole fucking Geneva Code is kind of, non-existent right now with, you know, with what's currently happening. But yeah, it's an interesting thought, not something that we should, you know, follow and all that, but it was an interesting thought either way that Millicent comes with this, and it just builds up upon her character in the way that she thinks. And so Millicent takes off her mask, she takes off, that was gonna say fake joy. It was kind of genuine joy of her just like seeing Komari at work while she knows who she is. But she takes off her mask and she starts to talk about all the things that she doesn't like about Komari, right? She can't stomach the way Komari lives, the way that she nonchalantly acts as a Crimson Lord after all that she's done. Not really sure what all that she's done is, and she goes into this repetitiveness of if only you weren't here, if only you weren't here now. And also she did say something like, who are you to act so high and mighty? And it's just like, okay, alright, of course, if you already don't like Millicent, a lot of that is just gonna bounce right back at her, right? It's gonna bounce off of you and right back at her, because you're just like, what about you? You're right? It's the idea of, hey, only I can fucking bully you, but if you bully me, you've wronged me, and that means that you are in the wrong, you little fucker. But after reintroducing herself to Komari, right, letting Komari get all her trauma back, she says, I've come to return what you've lent me 3 years ago. And it makes me ponder about, like, what exactly did she lent her 3 years ago? Is it the thing that she lent her, right, if she's returning it? And of course she literally does it in the next right after the opening, which is to toss a fucking knife at her with the ritual what is it, the ritual article and such, which I can only assume is that she's returning the death. At first I wrote fear, shame, right? Is that what she felt that Komari gave to her, and she holds that as like very much a resentment. Now she's here to return it. But considering that she was just out here just straight up tossing that tossing that shit right at her, I would assume death. She did say, Millicent did say that she had planned on killing the queen Armon, which I assume is Komari's dad, and Komari herself, right? She's got 3 people on her target, which I would assume, well, Komari is probably just the satisfactory part. The queen or Armon, I would assume they're, you know, well, I mean, the queen is literally the queen, so they're high-ranking individuals. But it's really interesting that Millicent kind of just comes in here and she's just like, yeah, I'm here to kill the queen. And it's like, okay, she's really coming here just to fucking flex her power for the most part. Albeit, you know, the moment the queen is just like, alright, you need to die. Millicent's like, I'm out of here. See you later. Then there's this quote from Millicent where she says, I want us to kill each other when you're more serious. I wonder if, like, that whole more serious part, which I assume caused the incident 3 years ago, and also the more serious part was when she actually stood up for Villhaze during the academy. Not really sure, not super sure. But after that whole ordeal, I'll talk a little bit more about, like, the ritual article in Inverse Moon in a bit, but I am still wanting to talk about Millicent. So we have Komari, who doesn't remember. Understandable. A lot of trauma out there and your brain is blocking it because they don't want you to remember. By they, I mean your brain. Your brain does not want you to remember this. It's too painful, so it's a lot better to just, you know, push it into a corner somewhere and just let it collect dust. That's totally fine, right? That's how your brain is protecting you from just going fucking crazy. So because of that, she doesn't know why she had invoked the ire of Millicent. She thought it was something trivial, and she was just at unexpected moments of doing nothing. I did absolutely nothing. And somehow I provoked Millicent's hatred. And I thought that it was interesting that despite the whole bully, and she also said, like, you know, it became something that she couldn't recover from, but she never gave in, which could, I mean, it could definitely prolong the bullying, as we kind of saw with Villhaze and, like, the other 2 bullies, who are just, I guess, regular bullies. And then Millicent is just like, I'm a crop. I'm the creme of the creme when it comes to bully. And by that, I mean I'm just a straight up murderer. But with the idea of, like, if you don't react to said bullies, they kind of just get a little bored about, they get bored about it and they would end up doing other things. That being said, I'm not saying that if you are bullied, don't just, like, let it happen. Anyways, Despite this, right, Komari thinks about how, like, oh, they can only feel joy by hurting other people. And they were so pitiful. That kind of clicks, and I was thinking about how Millicent says, why do you act so high and mighty? And that possibly could be it, right? If Millicent is out here bullying her, but she gets this weird sense that Komari pities her in some way, of course she's going to get pissed off about that because, hey, I'm out here fucking your shit up. How can you act so high and mighty towards me, right? Thinking that I'm someone who is lesser than you, when obviously you are the one who is groveling on the ground and I'm the one who is, stepping on you. How can you act so high and mighty? An understandable thing from Millicent and why she thinks that way. But in the next moment, we see Millicent trying to take Komari's pendant, which is a memento from her mother. That causes her to, I would assume, fight back a little. By that, I mean she just, like, wiggles a little, and then the bullies are just like, ah, man, I've got a nosebleed. What the hell? We kind of have the scene where, like, it's all red and very blurry, right? This is her memory, this is her brain trying to block this whole thing, but it's just leaking out. I would assume these are some, like, blood stains as well, or maybe it's just trees. I don't know. I think they're just trees. Yeah, they're not blood stains. Just trees. God, the fucking bullies, dude. Look at what you did. She's got a nosebleed, even though we're out here bullying you. How dare you do something wrong to us? And so, I thought this was so funny, as I was writing the notes, where Millicent is just like, look, I'll let you be for just one of your pinkies. Just give me one of your pinkies, alright? And this is where Komari's like, yeah, I blacked out, and the next thing I remember is I'm worn out, and I'm in my bed. And then the incident where apparently she murdered 100 people with her pinky, that is so funny. Like, they make it such a serious situation, it's just like, yeah, she killed 100 people with her fucking pinky. And then, here in this situation, I'm gonna cut your pinky off, and I guess Komari, in her murderous haze or whatever, was just like, oh yeah? Bet! But we still haven't fully know what the incident is, because right after this, when Villhaze comes in and, tells her that, and also there's this as well, where he's using her hair in order to locate her. Got there a little late, unfortunately. Anyways, Villhaze is out here giving her a letter, telling her, hey, you've got friends now, which is what I was thinking about in the last episode. I thought was nice. The idea of, hey, you've got friends who will be here to help you and to protect you. Not friends, subordinates, and all that, right? You're not alone anymore. And while Villhaze is saying that, I just love that Millicent comes in and she's just like, yeah, fuck that shit. Friends? What the fuck is this? Get him out of here. Anyways, I'm gonna take this girl. Oh my god, I still can't get over how great that blood splot is on the omu rice. It just looks like something splotted ketchup on it. She tells her to come to the place, which, hold on, once I figure out what the, you're in no condition to come here voluntarily. That's to be expected. You were always scum and a crybaby and indecisive. And yet you had more of a useless sense of justice than most. That's why I'm going to do this. Just like I did that time 3 years ago. I'm going to take her, right? I'm taking her with me. And if you want her to come back, come to La Nelliant City Castle Ruins by midnight. So she takes Villhaze because she knows that Komari's not gonna come. So she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna take your maid now. See you later. But she says, I'm going to do the exact same thing 3 years ago. I'm going to take her. And so I'm like, did Millicent kidnap Villhaze? No, actually, no. I've come to understand now, actually. I think I've come to understand it's not that she kidnapped Villhaze, it's that she knows that Villhaze was what triggered Komari to... Okay, I'm still trying to piece together this story, because, like, right now in my head, I'm assuming that Millicent was just out here bullying Villhaze, and then Komari stepped up for her. And then Millicent decided that she's going to bully Komari. And so that's why she says, I'm going to do the same thing 3 years ago. And that is to bully Villhaze and get Komari to take action. I assume that's what it is, right? It's not that she's kidnapping her, but it still could be. It just doesn't really add up in my head right now, just of all the clues that we have. Obviously, if you've read the light novel or manga or whatever, don't fucking tell me. If there's even, like, details missing out that they left out here, don't fucking tell me. Alright? Because, like, there's one thing that I don't appreciate is that people talking about missing details, because sometimes these missing details could be said later on in the anime, so, like, don't fucking tell me anything about that until the anime's over. So just leave that all out, right? If there's any missing details, don't fucking tell me about it. And so with the current detail that I have that's in my head right now, the story that I was talking to you about, right? Millicent bullied Villhaze, then she bullied Komari, and then she attempted to take Komari's pendant, and then she tried to cut off Komari's pinky, and then Komari went on a pinky murder rampage. That's the storyline that I currently have. And so the idea of, so like my brain trying to wedge in this idea of Millicent having kidnapped Villhaze or having taken Villhaze 3 years ago currently doesn't really make sense, unless, again, they show me new details on what the heck happened. But with Millicent saying that you've had a useless sense of justice more than others, which I would assume all of this, as she's saying, kind of comes from the letter that Villhaze gives to Komari as she recounts the scenario that happened 3 years ago, but Komari just can't remember it. By the way, I keep laughing about her saying La Nelliant City Castle Ruins. It's because I'm thinking about The Sims 4. And you know that one spot where it's like an old ruin place? And, like, fucking Sims are always calling you about this fucking place, and, like, I don't know why, but it's just a place where castle ruins, and then there's just a fucking DJ booth, and, like, they just have a party over there. And so that's all I'm thinking about, where I'm just like, yeah, that's the DJ place. Let's dance. That's the only thing in my head when they're talking about this castle ruins. Anyways, we've got Villhaze's little backstory, where she says she was attending the academy and she was hopelessly poor. And it's the nature of law that the weak like this are oppressed. And naturally, I was tormented by my classmates. The principal offender of my torment was Millicent Blue Knight, because of course. And as I was talking about, right, these two bullies in the back are just like, yeah, it's no fun when they react. Let's just fucking stop. And then Millicent is just, as I said, she's above all these bullies. She's just a straight up murderer. She ain't reacting? Then let's see how she reacts to death, huh? And so we've got the scene of Komari coming in and stopping her. But we learn in this part what Villhaze considers to be her crime, because as she mentioned in the last episode, I've committed a crime, and her crime was that even though Komari saved her, she wasn't able to save Komari, and instead she could only watch and tremble at the sight, which understandable. Understandable. You literally were about to get your head blown off by Millicent, so it's just like, oh, what the fuck are you going to do? And it almost comes in from that, like, that unfortunate feeling of almost a slight relief knowing that your bully is now bullying somebody else, because while and it kind of comes to this point where, like, well, it's better them than me. Of course Villhaze feels guilty about all of that as well, and so she accumulates all that guilt, and she graduates from the academy, and she gets hired from into the Gansblood family as a maid and stuff, right? And she says she's always been the one who was very forward in supporting her to be the next Crimson Lord and such. So yeah, we've got all this stuff. So the storyline between Millicent, Villhaze, and Komari is I don't know. I feel like it's still just a tiny bit hazy, just because we still don't really know. Even though I feel like we kind of know full on, but at the same time, not really, right? Until they actually showcase us the incident. The incident. It just, I don't know. I don't know what's, I don't know what's, I don't know what's what. But until then, I would assume maybe they'll showcase us. God, with the pace that they're going, I wonder if they're just gonna showcase us in the next episode or something. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, is Millicent going to be the antagonist throughout the entire series, or is she just the antagonist for the first arc or the first couple arc? Who knows, right? She could just be the villain for the first arc, and then she takes a break for a while, and then she comes back later. Who knows? We'll just have to see it when we see it. And so, as I was thinking about Millicent, and thinking more about the Dark Cores and how it perpetuates this sort of society, since they're vampires and all that, sometimes I forget. But, and it's the idea of, well, even without the Dark Core and, like, unlimited revivals and such, it's still the idea of the weak gets bullied by the strong. And it kind of makes me wonder on the idea of, well, if Millicent is here to give Komari, to return what Komari lent to her, which is the idea of death. It kind of makes me wonder if Komari had delivered death to Millicent, and that's what got Millicent into the inverse moon, because the idea of, well, I mean, I kind of feel like with the way that she went, even before even before Komari, I feel like she probably would have just ended up with the inverse moon anyways. But perhaps Komari accelerated her belief and brought her more dedicated and devoted into inverse moon. Who knows? So I don't know why I'm having a hard time just kind of communicating this idea of, like, a society where nobody freaking dies. And so because of that, as I was talking about that morbid idea of, well, you get bullied and you can't even, for most part, you can't even kill yourself or kill the other person. Because in a world where death is not even a viable option, like, if your bully does not care about dying, they do not care about pain and all that, like, they will just keep coming for you. And that is terrifying. In this sort of world, it's just like, fuck, I can't escape anywhere. Or at least with the way that Komari is, she just stayed in her room all day. But at the same time, it kind of feels like she had that luxury because she was a part of the Gansblood family, who are, very high and mighty. Big generals and all that, right? Top generals and such. So she comes from a high-ranking family, so she has the luxury of staying in her place for 3 years and such. And so with the unlimited death or unlimited revival, it allows Millicent to perpetuate this, perpetuate this ideal that she has, where she, I not only am I bullying you, I'm just gonna fucking blow your head off. Right? And it's not, for the most part, murder. It is, but it isn't. And I'll talk about the whole murder thing in a bit, but, it kind of makes me wonder if, like, this is the way that, society forms her to be. And I am interested to see more of Millicent's backstory and stuff, right? Whether she is just straight up like a fucking girl with a few loose screws and all that, and this is how she has been operating this whole time, or if she's just a product of this sort of society. And it kind of makes me wonder with the way that, going back to the beginning of this, where I was thinking that in terms of the dark cores, the idea of dark cores, Millicent and Komari, could just be the same two coins, two sides of the same coin. So possibly could be that. Anyways, we had the introduction to the inverse moon, where the queen explains to us that the inverse moon believes that death is the true desire of the living, and they plan on destroying each country's dark core in order to bring genuine death. Very fun. And we get to learn about what is called ritual article, which I would assume is like an enchantment or something. Injuries sustained from ritual articles that hold equal power to the dark core, could like prevent you from being revived, and it could lead to genuine death. And so, when they were giving the idea of, well, you can't really die, I had the ponderings of, well, what if you just destroy the dark core then? Would you actually bring genuine death? And it kind of brings a lot more into this whole ideal where the countries around this area are fighting each other, and Komari says that it's an entertainment war where they're really just out here showcasing their might. And it kind of makes me wonder if that's literally their Geneva Code or the Geneva Convention, right? That's literally just them being like, hey, we're just going to fight with each other in this giant battlefield where all of us are just going to revive and stuff. So maybe that's, and that's all we're going to do. Because if the countries were a lot more serious in all this, they could just bring in assassins, spies to the other country and just destroy their dark core and be like, hey bro, your dark core is destroyed, and that means that you will now face genuine death. You are not going to be revived anymore. And if you don't want to die, submit to us. It's somewhere around there, right? If they actually do genuinely want to kill each other and go into a more full-on war, that's what they could be doing. But they don't, and instead they apparently, from what we've only seen in the first episode, that they agree with each other to only fight on this on this battlefield where they all get revived. And so the inverse moon is just like, fuck that shit. We'll do it ourselves, and then everybody will face genuine death. Finally, people will get the fear that they should be having when it comes to death. Which, you know what? Komari understands. Even though she knows that she's not going to die, she still fears death. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to talk about the charges of murder and stuff. So, on the charges of murder in a world where you kind of just get revived, is it really murder if you murder someone and then they just revive? What would be manslaughter? Would it be just manslaughter? I guess, I guess outside of the battlefield, it would still probably be counted as murder, which I find very entertaining. But it is what it is. And, but that kind of goes into the idea of the ritual article, where if a ritual article that holds power equal to the dark core, it could lead to genuine death. So it's the idea of, well, people can die, but you have to try really hard in order to kill them. I don't even know how you get ritual articles, but maybe we'll find out later on. Oh man, I'm thinking about Elden Ring right now. Ah yes, destined death. And this brings me to the final thing that I want to talk about, and it's Yohanne. What a lad. Villhaze was mentioning that there's a spy in the midst. And it's Yohanne. He's the guy who's fucking helping her right now. And he's just over here like, oh shit. When she said kill, she actually means kill. I was just trying to kill Komari in order to prove my dominance towards her. Right? He just kind of says it in the terms that everybody else thinks about it. But here is Millicent who's saying it more in the inverse term. Genuine death. Destined death. And so we know that they're looking for this spy, and I wonder if after this whole incident, Yohanne is going to have just a slightly better opinion of Komari. Who knows, right? And it makes me wonder if Komari is going to show her true-ish self towards Yohanne, but not like, actual. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Because, like, Yohanne got stabbed. And Yohanne thought that it was a ritual article, and that's why he's just like, oh, don't you think she's going to die? And then Millicent's just like, oh, you don't understand anything. Which, you know what? Understandable. I also don't understand anything. It's kind of like that one part where Millicent's just like, you don't understand me, Komari. And all I have in my head is, why don't you just tell us then, Millicent? Come on now. Explain. Sit us down and talk to us. Yeah. Yohanne got stabbed. And here comes Komari, and I wonder if Komari is going to protect him in the idea that, she's not going to turn him in as a spy, because as with what Villhaze says, she is very kind-hearted, and so perhaps that could give Yohanne some sort of respect and actually brings him more into a loyalty towards Komari, because not only does she come to save him, but she also saves him from being turned in as a traitor. Kind of like with Villhaze, where she says, "I've betrayed you before," and Komari is just like, "All right, I'm gonna come and save her." Who knows, right? Who knows? And so that's why I'm thinking about Yohanne and whether, again, he goes and he helps Millicent, but he didn't realize the extent of what Millicent mean. He was also in a fucking drunken stupor when he agreed to this fucking deal. So he was making stupid decisions, and he's certainly getting stupid prizes right now. So there's that about Yohanne. Interested to see what's going on there, but we're going to have a fight between Millicent and Komari. Komari's being serious. I don't know, maybe she'll just crush Millicent with her pinky. God, if that were to happen next episode, I would. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. I love it. Fantastic, dude. Fantastic. There's nothing I love more than a series that does that shows something in a very serious way, but with a very stupid method. But like they all take it so seriously. I love it. But yeah, good episode. Can't wait to see next episode. Again, I was gonna, as what I had said towards the end of the first episode, I was just like, hopefully things kind of die down a little bit from what the fuck they were doing in episode 1, and they definitely did, and I very much enjoy this whole, like, plot line and stuff a whole lot more. But if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.